All right. I would like to welcome everybody here. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Caroline Sawamoto, Investor Relations for Intrepid Metals. Intrepid Metals Corp is a new essential metals company with properties in southeastern Arizona and focused on supplying the key base metals that will play an important role in the energy transition. Intrepid recently announced the acquisition of the Corral Copper property. In addition to Corral, the company has acquired several other drill-ready projects, including the Tombstone South and Mesa Well properties, and is actively looking to acquire additional projects in Arizona and the American Southwest. The recently acquired Corral Copper property is a district-scale advanced exploration and development opportunity in Cochise County, Arizona. The property is located 15 miles east of the famous mining town of Tombstone and 22 miles north of the historical Bisbee mining camp, which has produced more than 8 billion pounds of copper with grades of up to 23%. Their robust land package of more than 8,500 acres or 13 square miles of mineral rights has over 50,000 meters of historical drilling on the property, with near-surface mineralization of copper, silver, zinc, and gold, including 126.2 meters of 1.24% copper. Intrepid has concluded transactions for 100% ownership with two of the largest individual landholders of the Corral district and remains engaged with other stakeholders to further consolidate landholdings in the area. Arizona itself is a Tier 1 mining jurisdiction with year-round access for drilling and development. There is a great infrastructure nearby. Rail, power, water, and paved gravel roads are found throughout the state. Arizona is the largest mineral-producing state in the U.S., including more than 65% of all copper production. Today, speaking on behalf of Intrepid Metals is CEO Ken Brophy. Ken has over 25 years experience in the natural resources sector, focused primarily on advancing and de-risking development stage projects. He has successful track record in project management, building and leading teams, and guiding environmental social governance initiatives. Before we get started, please be advised that this presentation, including the question and answer session, may contain certain statements or disclosures that may constitute forward-looking information. Please refer to the cautionary note in our news releases and our disclosure documents available on SEDAR. Following Ken's presentation, we will open it up for questions. To ask a question, please use the Q&A function to submit your questions. With that, I will now turn it over to Ken.
Thank you, Caroline, and great job on the intro. You touched on a lot of the key points I'll go over as we flip through the presentation, and I certainly look forward to hearing from some of the viewers once we get to the Q&A part of the webinar. So with that, why invest in Intrepid? I think the simple answer today is we are extremely undervalued for what we have accomplished and added to the company in the last year. With a market cap of 9 to 10 million, under 50 million shares outstanding, we feel now is a great time to consider investing in this growing company. The key takeaways I want people to walk away with, or what I want you to really learn about the company, is that we are focused on drill-ready copper and silver projects within established mining districts and projects that we feel have the potential to create significant shareholder value in the near term. We have focused our efforts in the state of Arizona, which is a Tier 1 mining jurisdiction with a rich history of success, providing you know where to look for new mines. And we have established a great team with a track record to lead this company forward. Before I get into talking about the company, I do think there's value in setting the stage for what we've accomplished over the last several months. We completed a change of business just last May. We raised $3 million with a strategic investment from Crescat Capital at that time. And then throughout 2022, our goal was really build out an Arizona-based portfolio of drill-ready projects that we feel have the potential to be developed responsibly and that can add significant shareholder value in the near term. In the last year, we have added 4 exciting projects, 2 of which we've combined as part of our consolidation effort, which is now called our Corral Copper Project. Next slide, please. I won't go through each board member, but we'll highlight a few. Mark Morbido, our chairman, has extensive experience within the state of Arizona and has raised over $900 million within the public markets and has taken 2 different companies all the way to the New York Stock Exchange. From a technical standpoint, we have Tony Taylor, who holds a PhD in geology and has worked for several major mining companies all over the globe. And we recently added Colleen Roach, who's a professional engineer with extensive experience within the mining industry, everything from permitting to feasibility to recently working at the Pinto Valley Copper Mine in Arizona. Colleen also has a strong background in ESG and will help lead this initiative, certainly at the board level. Next slide, please. We are very fortunate to be surrounded by a strong and experienced technical advisory team. At this stage in our growth, we have leaned heavily on our technical advisors who have each significant experience within the state of Arizona. I'll point out Rebecca Sawyer, as she is a permitting expert who has also worked for several major mining companies throughout the US. And Rebecca recently developed and led the permitting strategy that enabled another copper developer to receive the first copper mine approvals in the state of Arizona in over a decade. Next slide, please. We still are early in our growth, but it is important as we are implementing a commitment towards responsible resource development. In my opinion, it's never too early to establish ESG principles and feel our early engagement with local stakeholders will provide significant benefits as we advance these projects forward. Once we start drilling, we'll be sure or will ensure that we take all necessary steps to minimize any of our environmental disturbance, and we'll certainly remain transparent with all of our stakeholders as well as our shareholders. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we are primarily focused on copper and silver as main commodities, as both are essential metals for the energy transition. Whether it's new renewable energy projects, electric vehicles, or consumer electronics, these essential metals are required to move our economies forward. However, aside from the energy transition, it's also important to note the connection all of these commodities play in just vital infrastructure that's required all across the globe, whether it be from housing to electronics to industrial requirements. Responsible mining is needed for everything we do. Next slide, please. Copper. Sorry, if we can go back one. Thank you. What I like about copper is I feel it's an easy commodity for investors to understand. For centuries, people have relied on it, and everyone knows its importance. They can see it, and they know it every time you flip on a light or charge electronics. Copper is key to making that happen. Its demand is certainly not going to disappear anytime soon. Next slide, please. So again, this just illustrates the demand and the looming supply gap in the years ahead. And I should note, the global supply chain is already strained. And I suggest the importance of the domestic or North American copper supply that can be developed responsibly is only going to continue to increase in the years ahead. I think this is why so many people see the copper prices going much, much higher in the years ahead. Which will certainly be very bullish for the price and companies like ourselves. Next slide, please. When it comes to silver, many people see the connection between silver and gold as precious metals. And I know there are a lot of gold bugs out there that predict the gold prices are going to go much, much higher in the years ahead, which is also going to drag the silver price much, much higher as well. However, aside from the connection to gold, silver is also an important metal within the industrial sector, which accounts for about half of its overall demand. Silver is an essential commodity for the electronic industry. As we continue to surround ourselves with more electronics, that demand is only going to continue to grow. Next slide, please. As I touched on earlier, and so did Caroline, Arizona is a tier 1 mining jurisdiction, which is also the largest mineral producing state in the US. Over 65% of copper produced in the US comes from Arizona. Each of our projects have great access and infrastructure nearby, and you can work year round in Arizona. These are some things that we really like about it. Unlike in some other jurisdictions, more of our investment dollars can go into the ground, as we do not have to spend shareholder money on logistics or building winter roads or having to fly drills around. There's a lot to like about working in the state of Arizona. Next slide, please. So here you can see where each of our projects are located. Our Mesa Well project is located a little bit further to the north in Graham County, while both our Tombstone South and the Corral Copper project are located in Cochise County and only 40 kilometers from each other. What I really want to point out here on this map are the green areas, the parks and the national forests. These are no-go zones for us. While there may be great geology or geological potential in these areas, and yes, you can apply and likely get a drill permit after a couple of years, I feel the delays in the resolution or the Rosemont approvals are a sign that even majors feel like money can die in these areas based on the delays. I think as long as you stay out of these areas, projects in Arizona can and will get built. Next slide, please. So the Corral Copper project is our newest project and provides us with an advanced stage district scale opportunity. The project is located 32 kilometers north of the historical Bisbee mining camp, which produced over 8 billion tons of copper with grades up to 23%. We now have over 50,000 meters of historical drilling data throughout the district, and have recently acquired the geophysical data that was completed by Anglo back in 2017 in exchange for them retaining an interest over part of the project area. What makes this so exciting is we now have modern geophysical data to combine with all of the historical drilling, unlike any of the previous operators in the district. More importantly, this is also helping us to find a number of new target areas that have yet to be tested. Next slide, please. We feel one of the previous barriers to developing this area of Arizona was the fragmented land ownership. As is common in Arizona, several families or individual owners held or still hold small patent mining claims that previously may have been mined by hand back in the early 1900s. Some of these properties have been handed down and within a family for over 100 years and date back to the wilder days where families came from all over the US in search to strike it rich from mining in southern Arizona. So the fragmented land ownership has essentially acted as a barrier, along with some local feuding between property owners, which has luckily since been resolved. Over the past year, I've spent a lot of time in Arizona talking, or I guess more importantly, listening to local stakeholders and property owners to learn about the history within the area. From this, we have been able to assemble over 8,500 acres thus far, with almost 1,000 acres of that being private surface rights and patent mining claims. We certainly still have some work to do, but we now have the majority of the key property tied up that can really move this project forward. Next slide, please. The most recent acquisition which was just in the last month, included data from over 100 drill holes, with many of these holes intercepting significant and shallow copper intercepts, as you can see here. You do not see a lot of companies reporting over 100 meters and over 1% copper with a market cap as low as ours. While these results are historical results and the core is no longer available, likely from the feuding that happened in the area, we do have the drill logs and, more importantly, the assay reports, which provide us more certainty in the data. We will have to re-drill a number of confirmation holes, but we do have a strong degree of certainty in the results that we will get back based on the assay reports we already have. Unlike many other exploration companies, we know where we want to drill and we know what to expect we know what the results should look like. This aside, of course, from some of the new target areas that we have developed based on the geophysical data and the historical drilling data. Next slide, please. As we move over to our Tombstone South project, which is another exciting drill-ready project, it is located only 5 kilometers south of the historical mining town of Tombstone, which produced over 30 million ounces of silver. While previous drilling was limited, the drilling on the property did encounter some high-grade silver mineralization. And what is really exciting about this project is the geological similarities to the Taylor deposit that was bought by South 32 for $1.3 billion in 2018. Next slide, please. The 2015 Taylor discovery was a significant event for many reasons. It was the discovery of the large carbonate replacement deposit, or CRD, located in the upper contact of the Paleozoic limestone units. It wasn't until the previous operator drilled deeper did they encounter the major mineralized body now known as the Taylor deposit. Tombstone South is located 75 kilometers from the Taylor deposit and shares some of the key geological similarities, whereby we have CRD mineralization in that upper strata with silver and manganese mineralization present. Both projects, Tombstone and the Taylor deposit, have adjacent porphyries nearby, and both have the lower Paleozoic host rock just below. It's partly these similarities that led us to believe that Tombstone South has the potential to become the next big discovery in the US. Next slide, please. This slide just provides a visual of the conceptual cross-section that shows that we have all of the right components and geological features that I just spoke about that makes this a potential major new discovery. Next slide, please. So here we have some of the results from the previous drilling. What's really important to note here is that all of these holes were drilled prior to the discovery of the Taylor deposit. And some of these holes were drilled looking for another porphyry, which was kind of like the BHP hole, or other pods of mineralization similar to what was mined from the town of Tombstone to the north. None of the previous drilling made it to the contact of the Paleozoics. Based on the previous drill results, the property clearly still has a lot of potential to discover new shallow mineralization like what was mined to the north in Tombstone, and now also has the potential to host a large Taylor type of discovery. This is why we're excited to add this project certainly to our portfolio. Next slide, please. So one of the first orders of business after acquiring this project was to review all of the previous drilling and geophysical data. A previous NSAMT geophysical survey was conducted in 2007, which did a decent job at defining the contact of the Bisbee and Paleozoic units. Our technical team recommended we first complete a large dipole IP geophysical survey to further refine our proposed target areas, and we were very pleased with those results. We discovered a new chargeability anomaly that sits within that contact of the Bisbee and Paleozoic units, and it has certainly become a priority target for our next drill program. This could be a game changer for the company once we get to drill's turn. Next slide, please. Last but not least from our project portfolio is the Mesa Well project. Mesa Well is another drill-ready copper-focused project located in the Laramide Porphyry Belt of Arizona. It has all of the right rocks, it's in the right area, and certainly has the potential to be another massive discovery. Next slide, please. So this map just shows some of the massive copper deposits that fall within the Copper Triangle of Arizona. Mesa Well is situated between the now shut down San Manuel copper mine and the operating Safford mine. And we are also only about 30 kilometers away from Faraday's Copper Creek project. The Faraday team, in my opinion, have done a tremendous job and recently announced they closed the bought deal financing of almost $40 million. While their project is a little more advanced at this stage, there is a clear sign that the investment community sees the importance in domestic copper supply and that Arizona is a safe and stable mining jurisdiction to invest in. Next slide, please. I believe this is my last slide, which shows how the previous drilling to the south of our Mesa Well property had indicated that both the alteration and mineralization intensity increased as the drilling moved towards the northwest and within our property. This leads us to believe that there could be a new major discovery made within our property boundary. We would like to do a little more groundwork to further refine or prioritize our drill targets, which we certainly hope to do later in 2023. Next slide, please. So you can see here our favorable capital structure. And I should note that almost 20 million of those warrants are set at 20 cents and are set to expire at the end of this month. So to recap, we have 3 highly prospective drill-ready projects, all in a Tier 1 mining jurisdiction. And we have an experienced team with the track record to move these projects and the company forward. Again, with a market cap of only 10 million, under 50 million shares outstanding, we are well positioned, and now is a great opportunity to be part of this growing story. Next slide. So that's about it. I should note that this presentation can be found on our website. And our website also hosts a lot of additional information about the company, our team, and our projects. We had some videos and drone footage on our website as well for those of you that may be interested. I encourage everyone to check out our website, follow us, or sign up to be on our mailing list so you can stay updated on our growth, or reach out to the team if you have any questions. Happy to move to the Q&A portion.
All right, thank you, Ken, for the great overview. And we have a few questions here. So let me just pull up these questions. So Ken, do you have any plans to acquire any properties outside of Arizona?
Good question. Listen, at the end of the day, we will entertain anything that creates shareholder value. We went into this focusing on projects within Arizona for all of the reasons that I tried to outlay of why we like Arizona. Primarily, I'd like to stay in the state of Arizona, but once again, we'll certainly look at any projects that we feel can create shareholder value.
Okay, that's great. You mentioned a solid management team, good experience, and a history of working in Arizona. Can you provide more detail on that?
Uh, Once again, the vast majority of the people involved in our company have experience in the state of Arizona. So I won't go through everyone. I'll just go back to talk about Mark Morbido, my chairman. So Mark was the chairman of another copper company that worked in the same county, Cochise County, Excelsior Mining. So Mark got involved with Excelsior, and he kind of was chairman, led the ship from right when it was an advanced exploration project, all of the way through to it getting its approvals to start mining within the state of Arizona. Mark established a lot of important connections within Cochise County and Arizona as a whole. So we certainly want to be able to leverage a lot of his connections within the state and within Cochise County. I touched on previously Rebecca Sawyer. So Rebecca also was part of the Excelsior team, and established the plan and executed plan to get that project approved within the state. So that's another reason why we really like the state of Arizona primarily.
Do you have any dedicated geologists working for the company to move these assets forward?
I'll go back to our technical team. We have a number of technical advisors that we rely on heavily. Certainly Chris Osterman, he's based out of Tucson. He has a lot of experience within the state, worked for majors and projects all across the globe. So we really have a number. Matt Gray and his team from Resource Geoscience is someone we rely heavily on when it comes to executing some of these drill programs. So I think once again, we have a great team surrounding us. No doubt we do look to add to the team as we continue to advance some of these projects forward, but I feel very comfortable with the team that we currently have.
Okay, thank you for that. You've consolidated a large part of the district at the Corral Copper Project. Are you planning to add any further properties there?
Yes. So the consolidation efforts, to complete the entire consolidation, it might take a little bit more time, but just based on what we've pieced together already, it really gives us a strong toehold on how we can move this project forward. Being very sensitive to some of the local landowners who have some property that it's been in their family for 100 years. They're interested in working with us. They think Intrepid, as an example, has the right team and experience to move these projects forward. And I think when the time is right, we'll be able to go back to these guys and add some of their property to a portfolio. But once again, some of it is just as to kind of close in a few blocks. Some of the areas that we have identified as highly prospective for new target areas already falls within the property that we hold. So no doubt we'll continue the consolidation effort, but I feel very comfortable with what we already have.
Thank you for that. Are you doing any geophysics on the properties? Do you have specific drill targets in mind?
The short answer, yes and yes. We'll certainly look to do some more geophysical surveys, likely entertain a IP survey throughout the Corral Copper Project based on the success that we had with that same survey at Tombstone South. Mesa Well Project, we'll look to do some additional groundwork, which will include additional geophysical surveys to help refine the target areas. And when it comes to the drilling targets, yes, we have a number. So whether it be within our Tombstone project, which we're very excited about, whether it be from some of the new target areas and previous areas that were drilled within the Corral Copper project, we certainly have a number of drill targets already identified.
Okay, that's great. And can you elaborate more on your plans for drilling this year?
I want to be kind of cautious with regards to plans for the drilling. And I think a lot of it kind of comes down to we still need to pull together a little additional information around the Corral Copper project. We certainly see, because they're only 40 kilometers apart, our drilling program at Tombstone will certainly be tied to our drill program at Corral Copper. We just got a lot of this new information from the previous drilling. We still need to do a little bit of modeling to further refine which areas we want to drill first at Corral Copper. So we certainly look forward to drilling both of these projects later in 2023.
Okay, next question here. Can you tell us about your relationship with Anglo?
I want to be a little cautious when it comes to talking about a relationship with Anglo, but essentially Anglo were quite interested in the area back in 2016. They acquired a lot of the BLM land, some of the state land that was available at the time. And that led them to do a larger regional type of geophysical survey, both a VTEM and a ZTEM. We have that data now. I certainly don't want to speak for Anglo, but they had a couple of different project areas that they were focused on within Arizona. They had a Tucson office. And then I think it was around 2018, they shut down their Tucson office and move those resources away. So that could be one of the reasons why they left the Corral Copper project area as an example, or it could certainly be that fragmented land ownership. I feel, Anglo or any other major walking in and developing the relationships with a lot of these smaller landowners, it might be a little bit harder for them to achieve the consolidation effort that's really required to unlock the value within that district. So, we remain, Anglo remains interested certainly in the area, which is why they retain a right of first refusal over part of the property. And I'll continue to keep them updated as we continue to move our project forward.
Okay, thank you. And just a reminder, if you have any questions, please put it in the Q&A box. I think we have one last question here. ESG is taking a larger role within the mining companies these days. How do you plan to involve the communities where you are working and what your thoughts regarding sustainability or responsibility in mining?
Great question. Just at a high level, my background, my history, I've always had a strong connection to, I guess, ESG, if we were to use it as a catchphrase. Prior to that, it was kind of CSR. There's a number, but working closely with the communities that, whether it be exploration, whether it be mining stage, I think is extremely important. And I do think the mining industry does not get enough credit for the work that they've actually put into ESG over the last number of years. From Intrepid's standpoint, we're still relatively new. We have these projects that we're really excited to move forward. And I think at this stage, all we can really do is be transparent with local stakeholders. I think I've been able to develop a strong relationship with some of the local stakeholders within the area, and always be transparent and honest with folks as we try to move these projects forward. As I mentioned before, when we get to the exploration stage, we start moving in drills, we'll continue to have open lines of communication to ensure that we're not impacting any of our potential neighbors. But what's more interesting in many ways is a lot of these projects, we don't have neighbors close by. They're far enough yet have great access that we don't have to worry necessarily about drilling in someone's backyard.
All right. Well, that concludes the question and answer session. I just want to thank again for everybody who have joined us on this call today and for asking such meaningful questions. We look forward to hosting another webinar next time. And if you have any follow-up questions, please reach out to the investor relations team. And you can always email us at invest@intrepidmetals.com. Thank you again and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you to the whole IR Labs team for setting this up.
Thank you, Ken.